Hello movie explorers. In this recap I will describe the film titled Speed with the thrill and suspenseful story of a smart bomb expert terrorist and a smart cop. In the first scenes of the movie, office workers who seem to be caught up in the rat race of life crowd into an elevator to get away from the stress of work as quickly as possible. When Howard Payne, a disgruntled former member of the bomb squad, blows up the steel cables that lower the elevator, he traps the people inside. The ride down to the ground floor should have been tight but quick. Payne wanted revenge because he was forced to retire after an explosion at work disfigured his hand. He asked for $3 million in cash or he would blow up the emergency brake and send the elevator crashing down 24 floors. Payne was crazy, but he was also smart, which is why he was so dangerous. Payne dressed up as a maintenance worker and hid in the freight elevators so he could hear if anyone was trying to help. Jack Traven is an ambitious cop who takes charge of even dangerous situations in the name of doing what's right. Harry Temple is Traven's older and wiser partner. In many ways, Harry's words of caution keep Traven safe in situations where there's not much room for error. This is something that will come up later in the movie. Jack and Harry bought themselves some time by using nearby construction tools on the roof of the building to try to block the elevator in case the negotiators couldn't come up with the ransom in time. The heroes didn't know that Payne could hear what they were saying, so he set off the safety lines. The elevator is hanging in danger, and the SWAT team barely saves the people inside before the elevator falls to the ground floor. Everyone is safe, but Jack thinks something is wrong and wants to check out the freight elevators. Payne is armed with a shotgun and has another bomb strapped to his chest when they find him. He takes Harry hostage at one point. Temple tells his friend, "Shoot the hostage." This is the answer to a hypothetical situation they had talked about earlier when they were checking out the building. Traven shoots Temple in the leg, which knocks him down and takes away the human shield that was protecting the bad guy. Payne walks through a door with a crazy laugh, and a second later, an explosion throws Jack into the wall on the other side. A few weeks later, Harry and Jack are given medals of honor for their bravery along with other officers. Due to his injuries, Harry will have to work at a desk, so he walks across the stage with a cane to accept the award. Just when it seems like the good guys have won, someone watching the ceremony on TV and clapping with one of their hands broken. Payne, who the police thought killed himself with the explosion when he tried to escape with Harry as a hostage, seemed amused that he didn't get caught. After the ceremony, the police force goes to a bar to celebrate. They don't know that the bad guy was not only watching, but also planning his next move. Lieutenant Mack, played by Joe Morton, joined his co-workers at the bar, but the fun was cut short when Harry told Jack that they were almost killed. Jack talked about the victory, but Harry says, "I'm not always going to be there to back you up. Guts will get you so far, and then it will kill you." Even though Harry walks home drunk, the night is a success. The next morning, we find Jack getting breakfast and talking to people at a local shop. Because everyone knows each other, the next plot twist is a little more surprising. As Jack says "see you later, Bob" to the bus driver before he goes back to his regular route, he gets into his car and barely misses the explosion that kills everyone on the bus. As the flames shoot up into the sky, a pay phone nearby rings, and Traven is shocked to hear the voice of the evil Payne on the other end. The bomber tells him that the bus will be armed if he goes faster than 50 miles per hour and will explode if he goes slower than 50 miles per hour. The next few scenes are a tense game of cat and mouse in which Traven tries to warn the bus driver on the freeway before the speed reaches 50 miles per hour, but the goal changes quickly to telling the driver to keep going faster than 50 miles per hour. Traven gets on the bus by jumping from a moving car. He tells the driver to keep the speed above 50 miles per hour before trying to calmly tell the other people on the bus that he's a cop. One of the people on the bus thinks that Jack is there to arrest him, so he points a gun at Jack. When a fellow passenger tries to help get rid of the gun, the bus driver gets shot by accident. Anne, played by Sandra Bullock, jumped into the driver's seat and became one of the main characters. She drove the bus back into the middle of the highway lane. Anne tells Jack that she took the bus because she was temporarily banned from driving because she was speeding. Harry is still a little drunk from the night before when he answers Jack's call at his desk and learns that the bomber is still alive from his partner. Harry's job is to try to figure out who the bomber is while Jack tries to handle the situation on the bus, including telling him how to get through traffic the best way. Also, Lieutenant Mack joins in when a police escort finds the bus's location and tries to find a safe place for the bus to go that will keep it going faster than 50 miles per hour. Howard Payne calls the police and asks for Jack's cell phone number so that he can start talking about a payoff. He does this because he knows that this is what he really wants. Traven gets permission from the strange bomb to let the hurt driver off, but Payne tells him not to do anything else. A scared passenger tries to get out of the car as the driver is moved across a panel to a police truck. With news helicopters watching the scene, Payne sees this and sets off a small bomb under the steps of the bus, sending the woman under the wheels. It was a clear warning that Payne would blow up the bus if he had to lose the chance to get the money. Jack and Ann don't have to deal with traffic because Lieutenant Mack leads them to an empty freeway. At the same time, Harry is getting closer to finding out who the bomber is. Since the bomber is so good with explosives, he wonders if the police files are worth a look. Jack was able to look under the bus's access panel to see the bomb. He was shocked by how much C4 was attached to the bus and how a gold watch was used as a timer. As usual, Harry gave Jack advice while he and Jack talked about the bomb over the phone. Temple could tell Traven exactly what not to do to set off the bomb. This is another example of how Harry serves as a warning in the movie. The shots of Harry at his desk and Traven on the bus not only add visual variety, but they also show that they are working as a team. The problem wasn't going to be solved by an empty highway, and the police saw that a part of the road wasn't finished, so the bus would have to jump over it. Some scenes in the movie, like the ones in the elevator shafts, were shot with scale models, but the bus really did jump, even though it wasn't over a real gap. If you watch the famous jump scene, you'll notice that the top of the bus goes out of the frame. Anne was able to land the bus and keep it above 50 miles per hour, so everyone on board lived. After the jump, Jack sees a real sign of hope when he realizes they're close to the airport and the bus turns toward an empty airstrip. The news helicopters couldn't fly around the airport, so the police had more space to try to stop the bomb from going off. Jack doesn't have much time or options left, so he makes a deal with Payne over the phone to let him temporarily get off the bus and meet with the negotiators. Payne agreed to a short break, but he told Traven that there are eyes on him. Jack thinks this is another way of saying that the news choppers are watching. Jack's real goal is to try to stop the bomb from going off. He uses a sliding board on a tow truck to get under the bus while it's still moving on the airstrip. Before picking up the phone to talk to Traven about how to defuse the bomb, Harry is seen frantically flipping through files. The bomb is set to go off if it is touched, but just as Jack realizes there is no way to get the bomb off the car, Temple tells him that the bomber is Howard Payne and that the watch on the bomb was a gift from the police department after Payne hurt his hand while on the job. Harry tells his friend to go back to the bus, so the police can find Payne at his house. Harry doesn't want to stay behind, so he and the rest of the team quickly limp out of the office. As the SWAT team surrounds the house, Harry sneaks inside quietly, and they look for Payne very carefully. As Harry walks into the living room, the smoke alarm goes off. Harry knows that the house was set up so that it would blow up if anyone walked in. Temple and some of the SWAT team die when the house blows up. Jack gets a call and thinks it's Harry with good news, but it's really Payne calling to tell Traven that his friend has died. Jack has always been ambitious, but he finally loses it. He smashes the dashboard of the bus and swears to get even with the bomber. When Traven finally calms down, he realizes that Payne can see the bus and sees the security camera above Anne. This is what the bomber meant when he said that there were eyes on Traven. Payne can watch any attempts to find him through the camera in his hideout. Traven gives the information to Lieutenant Mack, who is smart enough to get a news crew to intercept the signal and record a minute of generic footage so that Payne can't watch a live feed of the bus. Last but not least, the police can get the people on an airport shuttle bus. Jack and Ann hold on to the steering wheel and use an access panel to slide to safety. During the slide into traffic cones, Jack held on to Ann to protect her. The bus slowed down to less than 50 miles per hour and blew up when it hit an empty plane. Payne still didn't know he didn't have a live feed of the bus, so he didn't know it blew up. He called the police again to ask what the ransom was. The money is put in a trash can on a city corner to set up a trap. Payne notices that his feed isn't live before he goes to get the money, so he makes do to get the money. While paramedics are checking on Anne, she talks to Payne, who is dressed in his old uniform to blend in with the crowd of officers. Jack is keeping an eye on things from a watch post. He sees that something is wrong and runs to the trash can, where he finds that Payne has already taken the money. Traven follows the bomb to the subway and figures out that he took Anne as a hostage and put a bomb on her. Payne takes Anne on the subway and tells Traven to stay behind. Jack jumps on top of the subway car in the end to try to save Anne. Payne ties her up to a subway pole with handcuffs and tells her that he will use the explosion from the bomb he has strapped to her to get away with the money. When Payne hears Jack on the roof, he opens the bag of money. A dye pack sprays ink all over the money, making it impossible for Payne to spend it. Payne runs toward Traven on the roof of the subway car with a gun because his plan to get the money fell through. A fight breaks out, and in the end, the hero kills Payne by pushing his head into a traffic light. Jack finds Anne and takes the bomb off of her, but he doesn't have the key to get her off the pole. Since the subway track isn't finished, Traven decides to speed it up, which is another ironic move, and protects Anne once more. Jack and Anne are fine after the train car crashes into the street. They look at each other, hug, and kiss as people who came together after the crash cheer for the sweet moment. If you enjoy videos like this, please subscribe and enable bell notifications so you don't miss any of my next uploads. Please share your thoughts on the movie by leaving a comment.